Hello, so my name is Shmana Rims, and essentially I'm just providing an introductory video to essentially the below points that were outlined in the email. So my background, I've been teaching essentially since 2018, 2017, I started training. Prior to this, I was a support worker and an assistant psychologist for vulnerable people and individuals with mental health and learning disabilities. Um, I found it extremely challenging and but highly rewarding, and I did love that aspect of my life. I did love that job that I did. Whilst I was an assistant psychologist, whilst I was a support worker, I did actually work with a lot of young sort of teenagers with mental health problems. And for me, what I really, really liked was the fact that I could support them with their studies, support them with their academics. And I felt that that was something that I actually wanted to do on a sort of full-time scale, which is essentially why I've thought about teaching. My degree is in psychology with sociology, and but I've always had a passion for science. It's always something that I've really loved and enjoyed. And essentially, for that reason, I decided that rather than becoming a psychology or sociology teacher, what I really wanted to do was I wanted to get into science and really explore that with the students, really like shape their understanding and of key concepts. And I just had such a passion for it. I just had such a drive for it and ambition. I love sort of bringing a practical element to life that I was really engaged. And I thought, yeah, I really I want to become a science teacher. I think that is something for me. And I've never really looked back since, never really have. So reasons for applying for this role. For me, I've always worked, in a classroom in front of students. And then when lockdown hit, I think it was a very surreal time for everyone. But I learned a lot of key skills from it. And it was an experience that I could never forget and something that I will utilize for the rest of my life, really. So when I saw this opportunity come up, I thought that's absolutely amazing. It will definitely deepen my understanding of how to teach a curriculum through an online portal. I have done like part of that during lockdown, but never really done that or explored that. And then the other side of it was the fact that the students that you tend to work with, they are vulnerable students. And again, it just explores sort of where I've been. I've got a load of experience in mental health. I've got a lot of experience with vulnerable people. And it is a passion of mine. It is something that I really do enjoy. As a teacher, I have been ahead of year, so something like pastoral support is really, really important to me. I understand that, it builds the whole child, and that we can't just essentially teach them in a classroom. You have to get an understanding and really see them outside of the classroom to get a wider picture of them. And it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. And have a lot of pastoral focus. It is something that it's just very true to me, and I do believe that not everyone can have a pastoral role. I do think that there has to be a certain type of individual who comes into that role because it is very demanding, it is very long-winded, and no 2 days are the same. However, it's a wider purpose. It's getting families involved. It's it might be getting outside of sources involved, outside agencies involved, and working together collaboratively to ensure that the child essentially gets the best and reaches their full potential and is in life. And the last couple of questions. So a few examples of how I've enhanced my CPD. So I'm actually currently on maternity leave as we speak. And essentially I have deepened my understanding because I've signed up to a lot of courses through STEM. So I'm currently on an inclusion in science course, which is due to finish in January, and then I've opted in to do another sort of inclusion in science again. So it's looking at, you know, particular groups of students, exploring the language that we use in the classroom, um, utilizing sort of our understanding and our own sort of misconceptions that we have, but also our own biases, and essentially being aware of that and being able to ensure that that doesn't come across in the classroom and things like that. And it's been extremely insightful. It's just something that I decided, yeah, I want to make sure that everyone in my classroom feels involved, or sort of the reasons behind why a student might be disengaged, or what I could do to essentially make them feel more involved or more part of the classroom or more engaged. So it's something that I'm really enjoying. Gaps in employment. I haven't had any sort of gaps in employment. I've worked consistently. I sort of had a gap of about a week or two when I was just moving between jobs, but there hasn't been any gaps in employment. So yeah, I'm going to finish there, but I hope that that video is sufficient enough. And if you do have any questions, please do feel free to contact me and I'll be happy to answer them.